And welcome to Digger Diaries Live. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Wednesday. I've had a wonderful Wednesday because it's nice and warm in Atlanta today, and it was just an awesome outdoor time. So Gold Digger Diaries, as most of you know, is a celebration of the lives and work of ordinary individuals who are doing extraordinary and transformational work in their businesses, careers, and communities. So I know y'all have seen the posts, and I know you're excited, and you should be, because we have a phenomenal young lady with us tonight. And I cannot wait for you to meet her. But first, and I always forget to introduce Felicia. Felicia, that is the me. I am Felicia Rie, and I am the creator, executive producer, and host of Gold Digger Diaries. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments, and we'll answer your questions and speak to your comments. But right now, without further ado, I've got a fantastic young lady I'm bringing up to the screen, and her name is Tyreen Taylor. Yay! Hi, Tyreen.
Hey, guys.
How are you doing tonight?
I am super great. Like you said, it's a wonderful day today. It feels great outside, and we actually went for a walk because it was over 50 degrees for once.
Wow. And just to say 50, where are you located?
So I am outside of DC, so I'm in the suburbs. I am in Maryland.
Okay, so yeah, it's been cold. Last week you guys had snow, didn't you?
Yeah, snow, ice, everything.
Yeah, so I'm sure you really appreciate it today.
Yes.
Well, good. I'm so glad that you're here with me tonight and to share with our guests. So let's talk about you, Tyreen. So who is Tyreen? And yeah, just tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. So background, I am Tyreen. I am a wife. I am a mom. First of all, I'm a child of God. So everything that I do is led by God. I just follow whatever he says. And some things are kind of crazy. Some people are probably like, what are you doing? But I just follow. And then I am a aspiring entrepreneur. I'm a podcaster, an author, a life coach. I think that's it.
You sure you got one more thing?
Did I miss anything? I'm like, I think that's it.
That's a lot. I cannot wait to dig in and see how you manage all of that. A wife, a mom, an entrepreneur, podcaster. You are a multifaceted chick.
I'm trying.
So how's real estate up there? How's the real estate business up there?
So I am inactive right now because I am focusing on other things. So the market is nice. It's definitely a buyer's market because of COVID. So the interest rates are super great. But I will get back into real estate pretty soon. But right now I'm kind of just taking a break from it for a little bit.
Okay. Now, are you originally from the DC area?
Yes. Born and raised all my life.
Okay, wow. Okay. So like I said, you're multifaceted. So I have to make sure I ask questions so you can tell us about everything.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to being multifaceted and a mom and a wife, how in the world do you manage that?
I would say it's all about time management. You kind of have to block off time. And I always tell, everyone that I talk to is based on how bad you want it. If you want something bad enough, you're going to figure out a way to make it happen. And then a lot of people say, oh, I don't have the time. You have 24 hours in a day. So if you say your hours, to do work or to do things are 8 hours, then that's the time that you set. You have some people that work 12-hour days because they're doing what they love. So honestly, it's all about managing my time properly and just dedicating time to each different entity that I have.
Wow. You've got a lot. So now I follow you on Instagram. So the first thing that I noticed was your quotes, and they
Yes.
are amazing, and they
Thank
are,
you.
and I love them.
Thank you.
So when do you have time to be creative? Because I know I have to have like a certain space
Hmm.
in order to do that. But you're a mom, you're a wife. When do you find the time? What is your what drives your creativity?
So as far as like the different quotes, I personally listen to a lot of different podcasts. So I listen to a lot of different motivational speakers and things like that. So typically when I hear things from them, I kind of just take it and run with it. So sometimes I have like a note section in my phone. So if I think of a quote or if I see a quote that I love, I'll copy and paste it, save it to my note section. And then when it's that time, I go back and, create the different posts that you see.
Okay, okay, awesome. So speaking of podcasts, tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yes, I'm so excited. Um, so kind of like your show, like Gold Diggers. So in 2018, like God spoke to me and told me, to kind of share, things that I want to talk about. And I was going to do a YouTube, but then I was like, oh, I don't really want to be on camera because then I got to make sure my hair is done. Depending on how often I post, then I got to find outfits. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do a podcast. So back in 2018, I still have the notebook. I wrote down that I would create a podcast, but I just kind of just set on the goal. I didn't really like look into it. I didn't figure out how to do it. I kind of just had that blocked mentality that I talk about a lot on, a lot of my episodes, because I was kind of just waiting for something to happen. I was kind of just waiting for, somebody to pop up and be like, oh, you want me to show you how to do a podcast? When really I had it at my fingertips, because all you have to do is do a Google search, but I just didn't put in the work. So fast forward to last year, during the pandemic, when I just had ample amount of time, time was just at my fingertips, although the kids were home. But I'm like, you know what? What are you waiting for? Like, this is the perfect time to do it, because so many people are struggling, like mentally, and just, figuring out who they are again. Like, a lot of people lost their jobs, and a lot of people identify as their job. So many people are lost because they don't have that, career or job anymore. So I finally did it. I finally launched it last October, and I didn't end up sharing it until January of this year, because once again, the block mentality, the fear came in, and I'm like, well, what if nobody likes it? Or, what if nobody likes the post when I post it, and, I'm just going to look weird type of thing. And then, I'm like, just thinking too hard and just having that fear mentality. And then I'm like, you know what? No, forget it. So I finally, launched it officially on social media in January of this year.
Okay, and you're on Apple,
Yes.
Spotify,
Yes.
where else?
All the major ones. So like
Okay.
Google, Android, all of the major podcast platforms.
That is awesome, my sister. I listened to some of them and I was like, wow, these are really good. And I was so impressed. So yeah, like you said, we can't allow fear
Mm-hmm.
to hold us back. And so many times it does.
Mm-hmm.
We'll sit on things and we're like, well, they're doing this and mine's
Mm-hmm.
not be that good. Well, you know what? What God gave you is yours.
Exactly.
And only you can do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the timing is perfect, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank
So
you.
proud of you. Let me ask you, Tyreen, what drives you to keep working as hard as you do? Because doing what you do is not easy. You might manage your time, you might do all that, but I know that running a business, running a household, doing all those things, being a creative, having to create content, all of that is a lot. What
Mm-hmm.
drives you to keep? What is your motivation? What drives you to keep doing that?
Honestly, it's like a deep rooted desire and passion, because everything that I do all lines up with the word of God. So I personally believe that God created me for a purpose and a reason, and I am not satisfied until I reach that reason. So like you and I talked, before the show started, saying how if I could just help one person, I'm fine with that. Like, even if it's, that's why I got into real estate, because it's a service based business. Like, I enjoy providing a useful, positive, beneficial service to people. So that's honestly what just keeps me going. Like, I just need people to know it's other things out there. Like, you don't have to live in this box, no matter where you came from, no matter your current circumstances. Like, you can do it. Like, you see people on TV, you see people, you hear people on the radio. Like, you can be that. Like, you can do it. So, some people probably say, oh, you're a big dreamer, but I think that I can really help people. And then if I can help them, then they can end up helping someone else. So I'm hoping that the cycle just continues.
Oh, absolutely. Because like what do you think it is that keeps us from like dreaming, or like I said to you before, we celebrate celebrities all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we look at them like, wow, they're really doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't see that in ourselves. It's like, what do you think it is that keeps us from seeing that and seeing success in ourselves?
So with my life coaching class that I took, and I'm certified, that's what we talked about. And it's all about your mindset. So if you have the mindset and you know that you can actually achieve something, you're going to do it. So you have two options. You can try something, and you can have the mindset of, I'm going to do this no matter what. And then that's when opportunities pop up. Or you can have the mindset of, I think I'll try it. Maybe I'll do good at it. You just never know. And then that's when those, yield signs or speed bumps pop up. And then that's when you stop. So I say mindset and fear is what honestly stops us from getting to what what we're supposed to do, our purpose, our passion, our destiny.
And how do you for so many times, you hear you've got negative family members, you've got negative friends, you've got all this negativity coming at you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have that mindset. So what do you advise our viewers, like when all this negativity is coming, a way to shield from that?
Okay. So I actually did an episode about this. I can't remember the name of it, but you have to pick and choose. Honestly, I mean, hate to be mean, but even if it is family or friends, like, if they are stopping you from getting to your destiny and stopping you from doing what God called you to do, you can't allow that. You can't have them in your life. I'm not saying cut them off. So yeah, don't think I'm saying that. Like, you can still
It's
have a
okay.
relationship. You can still have a relationship with them, but you have to pick and choose how you handle that relationship. So I'm sure you probably have certain people that you tell certain things to, because you can't tell everyone what you're trying to do because they don't see the vision. So if you do want to keep those friends and family in your life, you just can't tell them those things that you're trying to do until you either accomplish it or, until you're ready to share. But everybody is not going to see your vision. Everybody doesn't hear from God like you do, if that's something that God wants you to do. So you kind of have to be strong. I mean, it's not easy, but thankfully for me, I'm super blessed. Like, my circle is awesome. Like, it's small, but I love it because everyone that's in my circle supports me. Like, I see some of them commenting now, so I'm just smiling like, hey, y'all. But yeah, everyone is just like, even when I come up with the craziest ideas, I'm like, they're like, okay, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. And they're like, okay, just do it. So I'm like, yes. So you just gotta kind of build up that, that mindset. It's kind of like back when we were in high school where, either we were a follower or a leader. So I'm sure, as ladies, we had that little pack of females that we ran with, and then, kind of just stopped at a certain point because you realize they aren't for me anymore. So it's like a growth. You hit a certain point in life when you realize you can't have everybody in your circle. Even if it looks cute, posting cute pictures on Instagram because you have 10 friends and y'all all dressed cute. Are they supporting you? Are they helping you achieve your goals? Like, you got to figure out, what do you want? Do you want the look and say, oh, I have 10 friends? Or do you want that substance that you have maybe three or four good friends that are holding you down. So it's all about choices.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Now I'm in agreement with Jackie Austin. Jackie said cut them off.
Cut them off. I mean, see, I'm not going to say it because once you guys get to know me, you're going to be like, oh yeah, Tyreen is not, really straightforward like that. So I'm going to let you take that route. I'm just going to kind of give you the little push. If you need to, do what you got to do.
Let them go. You have, I have had to like trim my circle, like small, because like you said, not everyone is for you, and not everyone wants you to see you winning, and that can be people that you think are close. So I have learned, and it's hard to cut people off that you really care about, but I've learned that it's okay because God's gonna send somebody else to take their place.
That's the one. I was about to say it.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yes, Latrell, it's quality, not quantity.
Yes.
Quality, not quantity. So now let's talk about the author.
Okay.
Author Tyreen Taylor. I'm just so proud.
Thank you.
Tell us about your gratitude workbook.
Sure. Okay. So
and I'm gonna pull it up so we can look at it.
Yes, please go purchase it, guys. So I created this book when I was in life coaching class. They really made me realize the importance of living a grateful life. And I can say I'm pretty much a really happy, positive person, pretty much forever type of thing. But once I got on the gratitude journey, oh man, like when I say doors open that I didn't expect to open, and it's really just mentally and just your vibe, like just everything about you. So I kind of give like a small example. So like once I really got deep into my gratitude journey, it was like really honestly, it could be big things to other people, but to me they were little because I realized I had so much more to be grateful for. It's not even that serious. So I always give the example of if you're driving, you're going to work, maybe you're running late and you get a flat tire. So when you live a grateful life, the attitude would be, oh man, well, I'm glad I was able to pull over and I'm safe. Yeah, my tire's messed up and I'm going to be late to work or I probably can't go today. Versus when you don't have like that grateful life or grateful heart, you'll just really like your whole day is ruined. Like you literally, you probably say out loud, oh, everyone hates me. My life is over. I'm not going to make it to work. My tire is flat. Look at this. Look at this. So it's like once you go down this road, you can't go back because you love it so much. It's like, oh my gosh. And then even when you have those dark, bad, just, out of it days, because we all have them.
Yeah.
You use your gratitude journal because you go back and you look through and you realize like, oh, wait, on September 25th, I wrote about a time when somebody paid for my grocery in the grocery store. So it's like little things like that. When you go back, it does something in our brain. Like I'm not a scientist. I'm not even gonna talk about that, but it's true. Like you guys can look it up. But like with psychology, like when you have a different perspective on life, one, you see things differently, and two, you do things differently. So once, different doors just start to open because you're expecting goodness, So it's like what you expect, you get back. So it's kind of like when you start thinking negatively, it's like once you do that first thought, it's just downhill from there. Unless you pick up your workbook and you go back through or you write in a new, journal entry, and then even if you guys don't buy the book, I still encourage you to go on a gratitude journey. Like every single day, write down 3 things. And you have to write them. Like that's why this book is interactive. You can write in the book. You have to write them, not just on your phone or thinking it out loud, but actually get a notebook and write down every day 3 things that you're grateful for. And I'm going to say 7 days. After 7 days of you doing it every single day, your life is going to change and you're going to be like, oh man, like, yeah, maybe my boss got on my nerves today, but hey, I'm blessed to have this job. I know 3, 4 people that, got fired or laid off because of COVID. So it's like that different perspective that you have. So.
Absolutely. I believe, I believe that the Creator blesses out of our gratefulness. Because until you're grateful, first of all, for what you have, then will come what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because He's going to bless your gratefulness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, we can complain and we can, have a complain about the tire, or just thank God you got a car.
Exactly.
Thank God you got a car and all that needs fixing is the tire.
Exactly.
And then he probably gonna bless you with that Benz you've been wanting.
Exactly. I be trying to tell people, like, everybody doesn't get it. Some people do, but it's just. And then honestly, I'm not going to say I never complain, but we have to really think about what we say before we say it, because when you go to start to complain about that job that you hate, you have to realize it's so many people that are out here struggling. It's so many people that are out here homeless. Like, every time we pass a homeless person, that's the first thing my daughter says: "Mommy, why is he out there?" And I'm like, I don't know, sweetie. Life, different things happen. So while you're having, I say, a poop party, that's what it is, a poop party, you got somebody out here that will die to have what you have. So it's like, when you see life like that, man, everything else just changes for you in a good way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That I believe. Well, that's great. And to our viewers, I put the link to where you can order the book on Amazon. It's in the comments. And please order it. And if you don't order it, like she said, at least write down 3 things every day that you're grateful for. Try it for 21 days if you don't want to do it for the rest of your life. But after that 21 days, you're probably going to want to continue to do it.
Yeah.
My coach had me doing this. I started doing that 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
I'm telling you, see?
It does work. So I'm grateful for you guys. And next, I'm going to be on TV.
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness. So, Tyreen, tell us what's next on the horizon for you? What you got going on? I saw your baby has a book.
Oh, yes, yes,
Your
yes,
daughter.
yes, yes,
How old
yes.
is she?
She's 5.
Tell us about her book.
So it was during the pandemic, and she legit, like, she loves being a big sister. Like, her sister's one, and she loves being a big sister. So randomly she came to me one day and she was like, "Mommy, I want to write a book." And I'm like, "Look, what you want to write about? Like, wait, and how you even write a book?" But I don't say that to her. I'm like, "Okay, tell me more." So she's like, "I want to write a book about being a big sister." So I'm like, "Okay, well, what you gonna say?" She's like, "I'm gonna talk about how it is being a big sister, and then I'm gonna have pictures of me and Kinsley." So I'm like, "Okay, all right, cool." So 2 days later, I forgot about it. I'm like, "Oh, she just talking." She, at the time, she was 4, so I'm like, "She just talking." So she came back 2 days later, and she's like, "Mommy, when we gonna start?" So I'm like, "Oh, okay. Give me like an hour." So I'm researching, trying to figure out how. Figured it out, and we just started writing. And then next thing you know, we had it published, and she did really good. I think she sold maybe 150 books, like somewhere around there. So she did really good. So I'm super excited. So that's honestly what made me do the gratitude book, because she sees what I do. She sees I do the podcast. She sees I do different things. So randomly one day she's like, "Mommy, when you gonna write your book?" So I'm like, "God, is that you speaking to me?" So I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna do it." And she stayed on me, because it was days when I wouldn't write, and she would be like, "Did you write today?" And I'm like, "God, is that you again?"
Yes, it
So
was.
yeah, so she did really good. So I'm super excited for her. Yeah, so I'm just, once again, even in my own household, it's the same thing. Like, I just want to show people, kids, anyone, young adults, no matter how old you are, you can do whatever you set your mind to. Like, she was 4 when she wrote the book. Of course I typed it, and she told me what to say, but I'm like, come on, like, it's so many resources out here. We don't have to just sit here and be in this box.
No, no. It's just such a blessing, and it's so refreshing to hear you because you are a millennial, and I always love to hear, the things that the positive things that you guys are doing because you're the next generation. So I
Mhm.
have hope. I really have hope. And you're training your child
Yes.
in ways that she should be trained in. Um,
Mhm.
you're teaching her that there are no limits.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
you as a millennial, when you look at your children, your children's generations that's coming, you look at our generations that's going on,
Mhm.
where do you see us, where do you see, what kind of world do you see us leaving our children as far as them thinking and knowing they can be whatever they want to be?
Honestly, I'm an optimist. So I see great things. I think it's going to change for the better. Like our entire world, once again, people call me a dreamer, but I'll take it. I just feel that it's going to be great. I feel like a lot of the generations to come, they're going to be more willing and able to take the limits off their thinking. Like that's what my podcast is about. Is taking the limits off your thinking and helping you achieve whatever it is you set out to do. So I really think they're going to test the waters. Like I feel like they're going to be like, "Oh, this hasn't been done yet. I'm going to do it. This hasn't been done yet. I'm going to invent it." I feel like we've kind of just been living in just like I call it cruise control where we're just going with life. Like we're just letting life take us. And I'm like, no, like that's how I am. I'm like, no, you only get this one life. Like
Yes,
one life. Granted, you might come back as a bird or something. I don't know. I don't know that part. But you only get this one life in this body that you're in now. So it's up to you to do something. Like, people who have kids, what are they going to look back and say? Oh, my parents did this. Are they going to look back and say, oh, my parents lived a happy life. They were successful. They helped me be whatever I can be. Cool. That's great too. Maybe
yes,
they could say, my parents were, awesome. They did this, they did that. Great. Or they can say, yeah, my parents just lived a cruise control life. And guess what? That's what they're going to live unless they decide to step out and do something that they've never even seen. But
yeah,
if we can set the tone and if we can show, other generations like, hey, I don't like, how some people say the sky's the limit. I don't believe in that. I
yeah,
don't believe in any limits. I don't believe in a cap. So once again, whatever you believe, if you believe it, you can achieve it. Like you have to put in the work. If you put in the work and you're passionate and God sees you putting in the work, He's not going to leave you hanging. He's
ab-
going to meet you right there. And then that's when all of these doors start opening. And then you realize, oh, snap, like I'm actually doing what I said I was going to do.
yes. Without limit, unlimited.
Yeah, no limits. No limits.
Yes, I love it. So I know I'm gonna wrap up with a couple of fun questions.
Mhm.
So I know you're not old like me, but I'm gonna still ask you this because I ask every guest this question. So if you had the opportunity to talk with your 18-year-old self, what would you say to her?
Oh Lord.
Are you laughing at me, Tyreen?
No, I'm laughing because any of my friends that's watching, they know 18 Tyreen. 18 Tyreen was not on this page. I always had the no limits mindset, but it was just a little wild. So if I could go back, I would tell my 18-year-old self to go ahead and get started. Like you don't have to wait, until you're 21. You don't have to wait until you finish college. You don't have to wait until you get your first job. Like just go, just do it. Like I've been doing, different side things like since I was like 14. Like I started a weekend childcare business in high school and in college. Um, like just different things. Like anybody could tell you, like they always, if I haven't talked to someone in a while, they'll check on me and be like, what you up to now? Like I know you're doing something. So I would have told myself to go ahead and do it and take it serious, because I could be in a total different place right now if I would have did the things that I'm doing now then. So
Yeah, yeah. And when we're that age, when our parents are trying to tell us, we're like, we got time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we,
yeah,
yeah, I feel
yeah.
you on that one. So, what do you like to do for fun?
I love food. Like I love eating. Like I love I love going to restaurants. Pre-COVID, of course. But I love eating out. I love trying different foods. I love to just do different things. Like I just like experiences. I like to go different places. Even if it's down the street. Like, anytime my husband and I go on a date night, I always try to pick a different restaurant because things like that just excite me. So that's my thing.
Like to eat.
Yeah, I love food. Yeah.
So, I'm gonna ask you. I have asked my guests at the end of the show to leave our viewers with one gold nugget or two. So, what gold nugget, GOAL nugget, would you like to leave with our viewers tonight?
Hmm. Can I leave too?
You can leave 50.
Okay. All right. So my first gold nugget would be to really get on this gratitude journey. Like seriously, because once you get on this journey, everything else starts to shift in your life. In a We
Sorry.
just talked about that too. We said we're gonna put our phones on do not disturb. She forgot. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So I would say, yeah, definitely get on the gratitude journey because it's going to open up multiple doors for you. Like you're going to be able to see different things, differently. So I would say that. I would say second, take the limits off your thinking. And if you're wondering, like, what does that mean? You know what I'm talking about. That thing that you keep thinking about, and I'm looking at you, like whoever's watching this, I'm trying to give you eye contact through the screen because it's something that you've been thinking about for months or for years, and you have not taken action yet. This is your sign. This is your reason. This is your calling. Whatever you want to say, go do it. Once again, you only get this one life, and you have to make it count. You have to leave something, even if it's something for your kids. You may not want to do a business. That's fine, but just leave something, even if it's just a good attitude that you left behind, that you share with other people, that they took on and carried on. Just leave something that you are, satisfied with. And then my third thing would be don't live with regrets. So it's not too late. So you may once again be thinking about, oh, I should have did that 5 years ago. I'm this age, so I can't do it. That's not true. It doesn't matter, unless whatever it is you're doing, unless they literally say it's an age limit. You can't be over 25. Then okay, let's find another route. But other than that, you guys can do it. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but just do it like Nike, like just go. And then when I say just do it, come up with a strategic plan, right? Write out your goals, write out timelines for your goals. Don't just say, oh, I want to buy a house. When do you want to buy a house? How much is the house going to cost? What neighborhood do you want to live in? And then my last goal will be to have a vision. Like I say, I feel like sometimes we go through life on cruise control and we're kind of just letting life come at us. Like, no, you gotta be like a boxer. Like, you gotta go out there and, knock life out or it's gonna knock you out. Like, we all know that. It'll come at you hard. So you have to be ready for it. So create a vision. So tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're free and have time, write out your life vision. Like write out how do you see your life? How do you want your life to be? And I'm not talking about 5 years from now. I'm talking about right now. Because once you write that vision, you will start to see things differently. So if your vision is you want to buy that nice house, you want the nice car, you want the nice career, write all of that out and make sure when you write it in the now. Don't write I will. Don't write in 10 years. Write I am. I
Yeah.
am doing. Write it in the present. And then I said last thing, but for real, last thing, positive affirmations. Like treat yourself good. Like it's your life. Like you have to, if no one's gonna treat you good, you definitely have to treat yourself good. So do some positive affirmations every day. Write out something different. Just like the gratitude journal, write out at least 3 positive affirmations every day. And if you can't think of anything, look it up on Google. Like just look it up, positive affirmations, and then write it down. You can, you can take it, but you just write it on your paper. I am courageous. I am successful. I am healthy. That's
That's it, girl. Look, you just preached a whole sermon right there.
it.
That was the Gold Digger Diary sermon for the night.
Yay! Oh,
But
and
I
Felicia, I
am
did
so
want to say,
grateful to
I'm
you.
sorry. I wanted to say, so those who, may not want to order the book, maybe want something free for right now, it's an app. Let me find it. It's called Gratitude. That's what the app is literally called. It's like a little heart with like a flower. So it's awesome. You can set like reminders and it'll pop up and it'll remind you, hey, make sure you write in your journal. I love the app. But once again, I still prefer to write things down. So if I can't write it down, I'll use the app. But that is something that you guys can get if you want to start tonight.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Did our viewers have any questions or additional comments before we had a benediction?
Okay.
Because she just preached to us.
Thank
But
you.
Tyreen, I have to tell you on a serious note, I really am grateful to you for sharing this time with me. And thank you so much for reaching out to me. It's funny how we should tell them how we connected.
We should. We should. So I'll start on my end. So
Okay.
I was going to write Felicia and I was going to be like, hey, I think I want to be on your show. But then once again, that fear set in and I'm like, no, I don't have nothing to talk about. I'm not established. I don't have a lot of followers. I'm just starting, things like that. Like she has accomplished people, on her show. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. So a week later, I went back on her page and I'm like, no, I think I'm a writer. And I'm like, no, don't do it, don't do it. And then one day I was like, you know what? How I'm going to be talking to people on my podcast, telling them to live fearless, and this is supposed to be the Fearless 2021, and I'm scared to approach someone. And I'm like, no way. So I wrote her, and then Felicia, you can pick up.
So she DM'd me on Instagram, and I was like, well, this is funny because I have been following her for a while because her quotes are beautiful, and I was just liking her quotes. So I got the DM from her, and I'm like, well, this is odd because I was about to reach out to you and ask you to be on my show. So this is God.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was crazy how that happened.
Yes.
So I just appreciate you so much. I think someone has a question for you. Who is that? Let's see. Tyra has a question. Any future plans in the making?
Um, yes, I do have a lot of plans coming up, but I've learned in life I don't share them quite yet until I actually get to them. So let me say like a commercial or like a TV series on Netflix. Stay tuned, and there's some other stuff coming.
Lots and lots. And I pray you all the success in the world, and I know you
Thank
will.
you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes. So thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. And thank you, Tyreen. And if you guys, as I say every week, if you know of an individual who is doing extraordinary work in their communities, their careers, their businesses, or transformational work in their communities, please send them my way. I would love to host them on Gold Digger Diaries. Until next week, I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.